Hey friends, welcome back. This is season 3 of Thursday Thoughts Over Tea, and I'm your amazing host, Angie H. And don't worry, just like every other season, we're going to have amazing topics. We're going to have amazing guests. We're going to deal with our holistic health, and we're going to also dig into societal issues and the things that plagues us. Don't worry, because I will also be that ray of sunshine on your cloudy day with my motivational moments. So be sure to meet me here every Thursday and have that cup of tea ready, and I want you to sit back and enjoy the show. Hey guys, and welcome to Thursday Thoughts Over Tea. I am your host, Angie H. We all are dealing with the trauma, the pain, the grief of everything that has taken place in this past week. We're dealing with seeing a man lose his life for the world to see through a video that circulates and continues to circulate. We're seeing how evil some people are. We watched as a man literally lost his life, took his last breath, and called for his mom, and we're dealing with that. We're processing that, and now we are seeing peaceful protests. We're seeing that the peaceful protests are turning bad because they're being gassed, they're being shot with rubber bullets, they're doing all these things to stop the peaceful protests. We're also seeing that they're rioting, they're looting, and I know that it's a sad situation all the way around, but I wanted to address the mental health part. Yes, there's looting and there's rioting, but this is a different generation. Some people can't process their emotions. Some people are just fed up, and so they are lashing out, and you just have to watch out, because they're at the point where they're that angry, they're that tired. And I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. We understand that we are 3/5 of a person in your Constitution. We understand that. We understand that you're angry that we're no longer slaves, and you want free labor, and you still want to abuse and use us. We understand, but we're tired. We're tired and we're fed up. And we're processing. We're dealing with the PTSD, that post-traumatic slave syndrome, that being Black in America. I, as a mother and as a wife, as a niece, have to have that fear of the men in my life, my brothers, all dealing with them, and the fear that this could be me. And then you have people that don't quite understand African American culture and what we're really saying, and don't understand the message that we are conveying. We're simply discrediting our emotions, and that's making others angry. That's pissing us off even more, because you're not even thinking that it's not anything that you just get over it. It's amazing to me that we can justify our white counterparts' dysfunction and misbehavior. It's painted in a very beautiful portrait of their citizens, and they have the right, and they can bear arms, and they're peacefully protesting while they bring their sawed-off shotguns and their guns and to the White House or to the steps of Congress, and they're being patriotic. But you have unarmed people protesting the inhumane way that someone's life was taken, and you shoot them and you gas them, and then you wonder why they're tearing up your stuff. We are not afforded the same space to be emotional, because the world has painted us as the enemy and we are dangerous. And I don't know if it's the fear because we were brought to stolen land and treated as slaves. And now you want to continue to paint the African American culture as a whole as these animals less than dogs because you're afraid of what's to come. You're afraid of the revolution. You're afraid of, you know what, these people might fight back for the first time. And there's a fear there. There's a fear of the African American man because if he takes his rightful place and stands up, you know that you can be powerless against him. If they begin to unite and show the true strength of manhood, there's a fear that you can't contain him and you can't beat him. So what better way to make sure that you keep them in the box is to remove them from the home, remove them as leaders, and paint them in a picture where you should be feared. And mentally, that takes a lot out of not only the males, but the females that love them. Now we're, as African American women, we are being hunted. We have been murdered. There's a bounty on African American culture's head because it's going to come a point in time where you can no longer control us because we are becoming so numb to this that the fear of death is being removed. We're becoming so numb that we don't even care about the consequences of what could happen if I react. And it's a sad situation, and it's a hurtful situation and scary to raise children in. I raised my kids to love. My kids are servants. They believe in serving a people that appreciate them. They don't see the negativity that comes with color. That is not what we have raised them to do. But now we have to get to a point where I have to explain to a 7-year-old when she is so loving and speaks to everybody that walks by, no matter the race. Her first thing is, hello, how are you doing today, ma'am? Hey, sir, how are you doing? And they don't speak to my 7-year-old African American daughter. They walk past her as if she doesn't exist, and she doesn't understand why. And I have to explain to her, baby, everybody is just not kind. Everybody is not going to speak to you. But don't allow that to change your heart. She's probably confused when mommy says that, right? Like, okay. But it hurts her to her core because she doesn't understand why this adult lady is walking past her because she's a little black girl. And mentally, we are drained. Mentally, we are over it. And that sitting down, being passive about situations is coming to an end. And now, my brothers and sisters of African American culture are becoming radical. And the chips are freaking falling where they may. So, where do we go from here? We're marching, we're protesting, some are looting, some are doing whatever they do to process this anger that they feel, because it's not just about one man, it's about a lifetime of trauma that we are facing, and it's constantly being on display. A white male can walk into a church, a school, kill the innocent, spread the blood into the land that is not even his own, but for some reason they feel entitled to treat it as if they were the ones that own it and operate it. And they're treated with kid gloves, and there's an excuse, and he didn't take his medication. He's misunderstood. He didn't know how to process divorce from his parents, and he's taken into custody. He's given a drink of water, and he's fed. And what are we going to do? Just surrender your weapon. Oh, they're protesting, and they got guns at the state buildings, and they're walking, and they want to come outside. You can't tell me I can't come outside, so I'm bringing all my guns, and I'm going to tell you why I need to come outside during the pandemic that could take my life. But no, a possible fake $20 bill, couple of CDs, maybe some cigarettes. Maybe I just want to play in the park with my toy gun. He's dangerous. He needs to be murdered on spot because he's scary. Their fear that African American culture will rise up against a people that have beaten us, stolen us from our own land, and made us slaves. That fear that we will rise up and fight back has them traumatized to the point where it seems like they have put a bounty on African Americans' head, and they're supposed to exterminate us so that we no longer exist. And then, growing up, I don't know if it was just me, but growing up, our white counterparts would tell us that just go back to Africa. Won't y'all just go back to Africa? Do you understand that you brought us here? First of all. Second of all, that go back to Africa. If we went back to Africa, you will become extinct. There's a need for African American culture. I don't think they understand that half of their inventions would not work without African American culture. We brought more value to your stolen land than you do. We taught, and we still teach. We still serve. We still do things to make whatever we touch great, because that is what we have been gifted to do. But yet we have to deal in a society and live in a society that don't even appreciate the value that we bring to the world. And so we're angry. We're mentally drained, and we're sick of it. But my thing is, where do we go from here? I know for me, I don't want to become so numb that this is normal. And I don't want to ever get to a place where we're like, oh, another one. I'm fed up. But what I chose to do is to educate, to research, use this time to understand the different triggers that could potentially put us into another headspace, to actually see exactly what my ancestors and the people before me had to cope and had to deal with, going back into history, doing that research, because that is what shaped the PTSD that we are dealing with. I picked up a book by Dr. Joy DeGruy. PTSD basically is the post-traumatic slave syndrome. I picked up this book because I wanted to get an understanding of what was embedded in us that we don't even know. That gives us that constant fear. We can be doing absolutely nothing. And maybe it's just me. I can be following every rule, everything on that road. But as soon as a police officer arrives, he could be off duty. But if I see a cop car, I immediately tense up, and I have to look in every mirror to see if he's going to make that U-turn, as if I did something wrong. It is going to become a point in time where our children and the generations after us are going to be fearful to call the police about anything. They're going to be nervous to walk past an officer in the store. And yes, we know all cops are not bad, but there are some bad apples. There's some bad apples in everything. But just trying to historically do the research and see, what can I do? What do I need to know going forward about the policies and the principles? What needs to be changed? And we're doing this marching and different things like that, and we're doing these protests. And okay, what's our next step? Is there going to be someone that's well versed in history and things like that? Is that going to be someone that's going to come to the table and say, okay, guys, let's learn about this. Let's learn about these laws and different things like that, so that we can present our case that what needs to be changed, what law needs to be changed, what is hidden in the law that we're skimming over that we can use to petition the country to do better. What is our next step? What are we gonna do next? So yeah, this is my mental health check-in, just to see mentally or share mentally how I'm dealing. This is traumatic. In the middle of a virus that has taken so many lives that we don't even know if it was created in a factory and dispersed throughout the world as some type of population control. We really don't know, because if it came from the land, we should be able to treat it with things of the land. It wouldn't have to be created in a lab. That's another topic for another day, but we're dealing with so much. And again, like I said, I did pick up post-traumatic slave syndrome, Americans' legacy of enduring injury and the healing, and I'm going to start that. So I'll probably be on from time to time, just giving you some little updates of different things that I have found. I have found in this book that I feel could be of some help to us all, just dealing with the trauma from our ancestors and beyond. But I just really want you to take the time to process everything that's going on. We can empathize with everyone of color, whether it's happening to us or not, because it's something that plagues our community, and we have to be there for one another. We can't keep battling against each other. We can't keep not supporting each other, because if you have not noticed by now, and if you haven't noticed by now, I'm confused on what you're looking at. If you have not noticed by now, African American culture is us against the world. We don't have time to fight each other. We do not have time to sit and wait for a bailout, because they may never come for us. So what are we going to do as a culture to support and educate ourselves? And yeah, that's something that they do not want to happen, but it's something that needs to happen for our children and their children. We have generations watching. What are we going to teach them? Are we going to teach them valuable information that will sustain them? Or are we going to teach them to act temporarily off emotion and possibly lose even more than we've already lost? So just think about it. And then I'll be right back with your 365 Black Excellence moment. So I know you're probably asking yourself as you listen to this amazing podcast week after week, who is Angie H? And it's quite simple. I'm just a wife and a mother trying to use her platforms to empower and impact the world. What platforms, you ask? Anise Charles Organics, ANISE Charles Organics. This is my holistic health company that I use health coaching, holistic nutrition, and herbal products to help you and to promote holistic living from the inside out. Defining Our Purpose. This is the platform that I use my book, Inspirations, which is a journal devotional, as well as motivational videos. I take the time out to listen to you and help you navigate through your darkest times. But if you want to find out more about both of these platforms, just simply go to www.definingourpurpose.com, or as you're scrolling up and down your timelines on IG and Facebook, simply like my page or follow me at Anise Charles Organics, ANISE Charles Organics, or Defining Our Purpose. Hey guys, and welcome back to Thursday Thoughts Over Tea, and I am here with your Black Excellence 365 moment. June is Black Music Month, so all month long I will be giving you some Black music facts. And our first moment is Black Swan Records. Black Swan Records is the parent company of Pace Phonograph Corporation. It was founded March 1921 by Harry Pace, and it was based in Harlem. The new production company was formed after Pace Music Publishing Partnership with W.C. Handy, Pace and Handy had dissolved. So this is actually the first African American record label. And this was a label that produced jazz artists and jazz music. Bert Williams was an early investor in Pace Phonograph. Williams also promised to record for the company once his exclusive contract with the Columbia Records had ended. But unfortunately, he died before that could occur. Pace Phonograph Corporation was renamed Black Swan Phonograph Company in the fall of 1922. Both the record label and production company were named after the 19th century opera star Elizabeth Greenfield, who was also known as the Black Swan. Unfortunately, in 1923, the production company declared bankruptcy. And in March 1924, Paramount Records bought the Black Swan label. But the Black Swan label was revived in the 1990s for a series of CD reissues of historic jazz and blues recordings originally issued on Black Swan and Paramount. These CDs were issued by George H. Buck's Jazzology and GHB label under the control of George H. Buck Jr. and Jazz Foundation, which gained rights to the Paramount catalog, but not the Paramount name. The rights to rename Black Swan Records was also transferred to GHB. So that has been our Black Excellence moment, and that is Black Swan, our first African American record label. And I'm a lover of jazz. I don't know about you guys, so this was pretty great information, and I'm going to kind of research and see and listen to some of the artists that was on the Black Swan label. So thank you for joining me. Have a great day. Hey, so did you enjoy this week's episode? Well, I hope you did. But you know what you can do if you never want to miss another episode? Just simply subscribe to Thursday Thoughts Over Tea on all podcast platforms, or follow me on IG at Thursday Thoughts Over Tea. Be sure that if you have any thoughts or concerns or any topics that you want to discuss, simply send me an email at definingourpurpose@gmail.com. Always remember, your thoughts are amazing, but sometimes they're even better when you're sipping on a hot cup of tea. See you next week here on Thursday Thoughts Over Tea with Angie H.